Overwatch 2 is past its prime on all platforms: Steam, Battle.net, consoles, other sites? This is very unfortunate due to my disability, which is the recurring thought of actually playing the game. I tolerate Overwatch, but honestly, between you and me, I would prefer to like Overwatch. If you play Overwatch, you probably already know what I'm talking about, and also, if you don't play Overwatch, allow me to explain. Overwatch has a large roster of characters, split up into 3 types: tanks, support, and DPS. Tanks have high health and various damage mitigation abilities. Supports have very little health, but have a whole host of abilities ranging from buffs to debuffs to just straight up giving their teammates more health. DPS, which is short for damage per second, are the heroes that are supposed to be getting the kills. They are glass cannons, high damage, but if you breathe on them too hard, they explode. The majority of which have no ability to self-heal, so they have to rely on other characters for that. About that, this is all fine and dandy, a wide range of characters to accommodate multiple playstyles, which is both a blessing and a curse. Seasoned players have the ability to adapt to the enemy, and new players are beaten over the head with choice. You know, if they ever get to the point where they unlock the characters they want. Overwatch implemented a totally innovative system where you need to play the game to unlock certain characters. This is fine for the majority of characters, as I unlock them passively just by playing. Unlocking most of the characters passively hides the kneecapping fact that to unlock certain characters, you need to win with their class exclusively up to 35 times. I know 35 doesn't sound like a lot, but in a game where victory doesn't solely depend on you, it can be a little bit infuriating. What was I saying again? Oh yeah, the roster of characters. Despite having some of the most annoying characters in the game, I have no qualms with DPS. Every single one, except Sojourn, seems balanced. A good chunk of my issues with the game lies with tanks and support. When the mod known as Overwatch 2 dropped, the number of tanks on a team decreased from 2 to 1. This doesn't sound like a big deal, but considering the majority of damage mitigation for the entire team now relies on one person, playing as a tank has become one of the least enjoyable experiences in the game. When attempting to play competitive, I dread playing tank, because I know for a fact, if I fail to clutch the 1v5, I will be riddled and peppered with verbal abuse. Rightfully so, I was a little bit dogshit out there, and since so much of the match depended on me, we were kinda screwed from the get-go. If one of your DPS isn't performing, you can still clutch up. If one of your supports isn't supporting, you can still clutch up. If your tank has the affinity to be forcefully sent back to spawn, you're doomed. This is really my only problem with tanks besides the petty skill issue based ones. Why is this little rodent so difficult to kill, and why is his voice deeper than mine? So if tanks as a collective have a singular issue, where do most of my issues lie? Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the support class. And before you support mains get your E and shift keys in a bunch, I'm a support main too. My only rank is in support. Supports are kinda broken in both the healing they can output and the damage they can throw out, and just being downright unkillable at certain points. One of them literally has an immortality field. I'm being hyperbolic. Immortality field is actually the most manageable of all the abilities. You want to kill a Kiriko? She teleports onto the other side of a wall. You spend all of your cooldowns taking down the enemy tank. Mercy reses him from the other side of a wall. You think you're about to kill the enemy Mauga? Anna nades him and he goes back to full HP. You think you're about to kill the enemy Moira? She hops on her broom and goes back to spawn. You think you're about to kill the enemy Baptiste? He simply crouches and leaps over a skyscraper to evade all of your attacks. A Lucio dives your team, and just as you think you're about to punish him for that foolish decision, he switches the speed and goes around a corner you cannot follow. I know, I'm complaining about supporting, but the fact Illari can fly above me and drop down Lockheed Martin's newest project on me and my entire team just by aiming in our general direction stops being funny after the 10th time. So the current problem is supports really support and really do a lot of damage, and let's not talk about those interesting hitboxes. The amount of times I've gotten a little bit overzealous thinking I could handle a 1v1 with a Kiriko, only to get 2-tapped back to TF2. Oh sorry, I forgot to use its official name, Overwatch San Andreas. To summarize this entire section, my god, are these fuckers hard to kill. I apologize for that outburst, I let the anger consume me. The devs decide to release a new hero every once in a while, which is great, it's their attempt at keeping the game fresh. However, they've kind of left a lot of heroes in the past. Heroes that I think are the best example of this are Reinhardt and Winston. Reinhardt just does not cut it anymore. His dash, shield, and big metal stick just aren't as useful as they used to be. Everything he does, another tank can probably do better. And then there's the actual bottom of the barrel tank Winston. No, I'm not a Winston expert, but he seems like a dive character. You hop into the enemy backline, deploy your shield, and try and do some damage. Supports, who are usually in the backline, are no longer twigs. Winston will hop into the backline and get flambéed. If the enemy team has a Mauga, you're not even gonna get the opportunity to jump. Another hero I feel has fallen a little bit to the wayside is Genji. Not to the same extent as the chimp, but he's still in an interesting state. Specifically, his ult. Without Nano, good luck getting some eliminations if the supports are still around. I know what you're saying, work on target priority. There's a Lifeweaver 3 kilometers away about to yoink away your only possible kill. Admittedly, Blizzard has been working on the dog dogshit hero problem with reworks, so I can't be too mad. Please, I'm begging you, fix the monkey! That's my problem with the hero types, not my problem with the entire roster. You have a plethora of heroes to choose from, which is fun, unless you want to win. Counter swapping is the enemy of fun. If there's an enemy Pharah, you need to switch to hit scan, or just be good at the game, but I'm not doing that. If the enemy has Mauga, you need Ana or Zenyatta. Psych, the enemy switched to Kiriko. Your utility now means nothing. Okay, no problem, dive the Kiriko. Psych, again. The other support switched to Brigitte. Reading this back, this all sounds like a skill issue, but I refuse to self-reflect. Don't even get me started on the meta goblins. With so many hero choices, I should not be seeing Ramatra, Kiriko, Sojourn, and Brigitte this often, especially in competitive game modes. Speaking about competitive, it's just not fun. I don't think I've ever had fun in Overwatch without playing with my friends. Competitive is supposed to provide dopamine when you move up a rank and sewer Slidean ideation when you go down. However, Overwatch operates on a card system where you need 5 wins or a heck ton of losses to actually change a rank, or the worst option, stay where you are, leaving you in a state of limbo after completing a match. Quick play is also a pain, as your teammates will just straight up leave if the match is not looking good after the first fight, which makes unlocking competitive interesting since you need like 50 wins to unlock it. I know what you're saying, play the other game modes. My brother in Christ, there's 5 people in the other game modes. Overwatch's content is carried by creators' personalities rather than the game itself, which is a bad thing. If the creators get bored of Overwatch, coverage plummets. It isn't Fortnite where there's something new every season. Fundamentally, despite the number change, it's still the same game. These all seem like problems that should have been ironed out through community feedback, and there's a lot of it. So why hasn't anything changed? Overwatch is an Activision Blizzard game, yeah. I went back to watch the Overwatch 2 trailer at BlizzCon, and to the Overwatch fans who stuck around from there, y'all got bamboozled, hoodwinked, guala removed from pockets. They are pathological liars, and even worse, they don't care about your opinion. About 3 weeks ago, Lucifer filled his pockets and finally left the company, but looking at the latest news, yeah, it might get worse. Or better, I have never made a game, so I'm just complaining. Either way, see you in the next one. Shakes Cup.